Welcome to Unexplored Mysteries. For most of my life, I prided myself on being a rational thinker, a skeptic who dismissed tales of the supernatural as mere figments of imagination. I'd roll my eyes at ghost stories and laugh off the haunted tales shared around campfires, convinced that everything had a logical explanation. However, everything changed one fateful night when I found myself alone in an old decrepit house that had been abandoned for decades. A house that was rumored to be cursed. It was a dare, really. A group of friends challenged my skepticism, and against my better judgment, I accepted. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and my unwavering disbelief, I stepped inside, the door creaking ominously behind me. Dust particles floated in the beam of light, and the air felt thick with an unsettling energy. But I brushed it off as just the weight of age. As I explored the crumbling rooms filled with faded memories, I felt a strange sense of unease creeping in, but I dismissed it, focusing instead on how I would regale my friends with tales of my bravery. As the night deepened, I ventured into what was once the living room. The remnants of old furniture lay scattered, cloaked in dust, and the faded wallpaper peeled from the walls like skin shedding from a wound. My flashlight flickered for a moment, casting eerie shadows that danced across the room. I shook it, annoyed at its fickleness, but my irritation faded as I caught a glimpse of something out of the corner of my eye, a figure standing in the doorway. At first I thought it was my imagination, a trick of the light, but as I turned to face it, my breath caught in my throat. There stood a woman, her form translucent and glowing faintly in the dim light. Her hair floated around her as if underwater, and her eyes, deep pools of sorrow, seemed to reach into my soul. I blinked hard, convincing myself that I was merely hallucinating. "This isn't real," I muttered under my breath, trying to shake off the fear that threatened to envelop me. Yet the figure remained, and as she took a step closer, I felt an icy chill sweep through the room. "Help me," she whispered, her voice barely audible, like the rustling of leaves in the wind. Panic surged through me and my mind raced with questions. Who was she? Why was she here? My skepticism began to crumble under the weight of her despair. "What do you need?" I asked, my voice trembling despite my attempts to sound steady. The ghostly woman pointed toward the old fireplace, and as I approached, I noticed a small, charred box hidden beneath the debris. My hands shook as I unearthed it, feeling an inexplicable connection to the object. The moment I opened the box, a rush of memories flooded my mind. Images of a family gathered around a fire, laughter echoing through the halls, and then a fire that consumed it all. I realized this was her home, her family, lost to tragedy. The air grew colder as the realization sank in, and I could feel the weight of her sorrow pressing down on me. Suddenly, the room erupted in chaos. Objects began to rattle and fly off the shelves, as if the house itself was in agony. The ghost's expression shifted from sadness to fury, her wails echoing around me, filling the air with despair. I stumbled back, heart racing, overwhelmed by the energy swirling around me. I had entered this house a skeptic, dismissing the supernatural, but now I was confronted with a reality I could not ignore. In that moment, a rush of empathy washed over me, and I understood her pain. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and shouted over the cacophony, "I believe you, I'm here to help." The noise ceased abruptly, and the ghost's gaze softened. Slowly, she reached out toward me, her fingers brushing against my skin, sending a jolt of energy through my body. I could feel her gratitude, a warmth that momentarily dispelled the cold. Then in an instant, she vanished, leaving only the echo of her whisper lingering in the air. "Thank you." I stood alone in the silent house, my heart racing as the weight of what I had experienced settled over me. I had been a skeptic, but now I knew better. I had encountered something beyond explanation, something that challenged my very understanding of reality. As I stumbled out of the house, the first rays of dawn broke through the darkness, illuminating the world around me. I could hardly process what had happened, but one thing was clear: I would never look at the supernatural the same way again. Now, as I share my story, I implore you to keep an open mind. The unknown holds mysteries that defy logic, and sometimes it is only through experiencing the inexplicable that we learn to believe. Don't forget to subscribe to Unexplored Mysteries for more spine-chilling tales that dwell in the shadows of your imagination.